There's a constellation in the sky in the form of a dog called Sirius. That's where he gets his name. Where else do you find constellations? On temples. Just saying.
Hey guys, welcome back to Saints Unscripted. I'm here today with David and Lauren, and we are going to be talking about something that many people love, and we're learning specifically maybe millennials, but we'll have a Gen Z perspective. Anyways, it's Harry Potter, and we're going to watch some clips about Harry Potter, and you might be surprised how much it relates to the gospel.
Some connections are pretty obvious, and
Yeah.
some we're really going to stretch. We're going to scrape what we can out of these.
It's pretty cool, though. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, it will be fun. And elephant in the room, one of the three of us has not seen Harry Potter before, so...
Or read or knows anything but the basics. So
I wonder who that is. Oh, no. Yeah, I don't know how much of a Gen Z perspective you'll get from me, considering I haven't read the books or seen any of the movies, and that's really wildly embarrassing. I'm sorry. I grew up Catholic. I wasn't allowed to touch that kind of stuff. So here we are.
You're not Catholic anymore, baby. Just kidding.
No,
That's not horrible.
I do have this Harry Potter wand that I was given at a Harry Potter party, which was really fun. And I was able to have fun even though I didn't know anything.
Wow.
Well, that's wild that you got out of that party without watching a movie or anything.
I know. We
That's
just played a bunch of games, and they talked a lot of Harry Potter stuff, but I didn't understand most of it. But I had fun, so there you go.
Yeah. Well, maybe you'll learn more than you bargained for today.
I'm actually really excited. I feel like
we're going to major spoilers here.
I know, but
Yes.
you're going to be connecting it to the gospel, and that's super cool. So.
Yeah. Okay, so the first clip is after Cedric Diggory dies, rest in peace, and Dumbledore is giving like a
eulogy.
A eulogy, yeah.
Now, the pain we all feel at this dreadful loss reminds me and reminds us that while we may come from different places and speak in different tongues, our hearts beat as one. In light of recent events, the bonds of friendship we made this year will be more important than ever. Remember that. And Cedric Diggory will not have died in vain. You remember that. And we'll celebrate a boy who was kind and honest and brave and true right to the very end.
That was really sad.
Yeah.
Beautifully shot scene, though. Great acting. I don't know anything about who Cedric is. But when they were talking about him, especially towards the end, it seemed like they were mentioning Christ-like attributes they might have. I could be totally off par whether he was Christ-like or not, but
No, he was good.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't Jesus,
No.
but he was
no.
a nice guy. Yeah.
We aren't, but we could have Christ-like attributes,
Sure.
you know?
It's true.
So I got two things from that. One, it reminded me of kind of the concept of Zion, right? Where we're different people, but we're unified. Like that's the goal, is to, have our hearts beat as one and to be working together as a team. So I like that aspect of that scene. The other thing is he talks about remembering a bit when he's saying, remember Cedric Diggory and his attributes and things like that. And it reminds me of the Book of Mormon over and over again. It talks about, especially in Helaman, I think, talks about remembering, our past and where we've come from. So I like that.
And like the sacrifices of our forefathers.
Yeah.
So it's like remembering that someone has died for a cause is important to move forward.
Yeah, like I feel like we could have given the same speech about Tiancum, and it would apply. Next clip.
Yeah.
In this clip, this is just a little snippet of what Albus Dumbledore, who is the headmaster at the magical school known as Hogwarts, he's talking to Harry Potter and kind of preparing him or motivating him for the trials that are to come. And he teaches some good stuff.
Yeah.
Let's listen in.
Dark and difficult times lie ahead. Soon we must all face the choice between what is right and what is easy. But remember this. You have friends here. You're not alone.
That feels a lot like how I think God talks to me, where when I first joined the church, I had this misunderstanding that life would be incredibly easy if I just followed all the rules and did everything right. And that was very far from the truth. In fact, a lot of bad things happened as soon as I joined. But what the church gave me that other religions in my life have not, or what being non-religious wasn't able to give me, was a clear direction of what was right and wrong. And if I followed that in making my decisions, if I always followed what Christ would do, then even if it didn't feel easy, I at least knew that it didn't feel easy for Christ either, and it's something that would lead me to long-term happiness, since that is part of God's plan.
Similar to you, I feel like this is like maybe what God says to each of his children in pre-mortality, like right before they start mortal life. It's just like, get ready, because this is going to be a ride.
Yeah.
And it's going to be rough. And really the mortality, all of mortality is kind of just repeated examples of that tension between what is right and what is easy.
Absolutely.
It's kind of that struggle between the natural man and the spiritual man, or what you know you should do, or what you believe you should do, versus what is convenient.
Yeah.
Yes. So what you're saying, good. That President Monson says, may we ever choose the harder right instead of the easier wrong. Literally like right and easy. Choose what is right versus what is easy. It's like the same thing. Only this one comes from a prophet. So it's better.
I also like to think that for the concept of the easier wrong, is it really easier in the long term? Like, it might be easier in the moment, but if it's gonna go against what you've aligned yourself with, which is this faith in Heavenly Father, then the consequences down the path might hurt more than having chose the hard right
and
now.
That's very much the case for Harry Potter too.
Oh,
if he doesn't do all the hard things he has to do, then everyone would die. So
doesn't he almost die several times though?
Yes.
That's
you just wait.
One last thing I'll say about that clip is when he mentions that Harry Potter has friends and that he's not alone. That doesn't only apply to how we're given church communities, and we're also born into a family that is supposed to be there for us and support us, but in an episode that we did about being comforted, Cam had talked about how in the scriptures we have generations and generations and generations of people who constantly are in really bad trials or really heavy situations, and they still have to make the choice to follow God. So it's not only that we're not alone in the community of support that we have on earth, but we're also not alone in the grand scheme of all of the generations of people that Heavenly Father has worked with and through. There are people who've come before us that have had to deal with much harder things. There are people who will come after us that have to deal with much harder things. And knowing that the Lord's people have never really caught a break, at least not consistently, is really helpful in still feeling motivated to choose the right.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, Sirius Black is Harry Potter's unofficial uncle.
Oh yeah.
I guess I could just call him his godfather. Yeah. We don't really do the godfather thing in
I
the
have
Latter-day Saint
godparents,
faith.
but
Oh, great.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I have no problem with it at all. I think they're great. But yes, Sirius, unofficial uncle, also known as godfather. He was Harry's parents' friend.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he passes away, as we are about to see. And you'll see some connections. Let's do it.
Expelliarmus! Nice one, James!
He died?
Yeah.
How did he die?
Magic.
Okay.
She said Avada Kedavra.
Oh, but like he was taken up in like a of
Yeah.
smoke, like a.
Well, so there was an archway with a veil.
I see.
Most people don't die in that specific spot.
Okay.
Yeah, most people die and then their bodies are on the ground.
He passed through the veil. Literally.
That sounds familiar.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
So there's lore behind this this object in the Department of Mysteries, and it is like very directly meant to represent like the veil between life and death and passing through the veil. And in the books it talks about how, you know, Harry can hear voices and whispers from the other side, but you can't, you know, see them.
And something you might not have noticed is right after Harry disarms Lucius, Sirius says, "Good one."
Nice one.
Yeah.
James.
Nice one, James, which is his dad's name, which was his friend, and he like fought with him. And that part's like, it's so sad. But also, I don't know, it's kind of cool when you think about like how close he is to meeting James again, you know? I think that's cool. And sad.
Yeah.
Wait, so where do people go after they die in the Harry Potter universe?
Well, we might actually get to that too in another clip.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. But we don't know where he, he went beyond the veil.
Yeah.
Wherever that is.
Right.
But the implication there is that, some part of you exists after you die, and there's a place where those who pass on coexist. But, okay, so another weird thing. You know where else we find veils within the Latter-day Saint faith? Temples. In the New Testament, we read about mysteries. And another way to translate that Greek word is ordinances. So this veil is found in the depths of the Department of Mysteries, aka the Department of Ordinances. I'm sure that wasn't intentional, but I think there's some cool
That's really cool.
temple symbology there.
Oh, wow.
Also, I love in this clip, you see these beings of light and beings of darkness grappling with each other, flying around, and then also just like people there fighting as well. And I think that's really cool imagery for like, we're here in mortality, we're struggling, we're fighting, but there are also beings of light and darkness that may very well be, metaphorically grappling around us and, fighting for our benefit or our detriment.
With all these names, like Sirius, is there any lore behind the names? Like why they were named these names?
Well, let me tell you. Sirius Black is an animagus.
Do you know what that is?
No.
I mean, explain it.
Well, he is not just in human form. He is also a wolf, right? Yeah.
It's like a black
He's
dog.
like a really black, big dog.
I see.
Wolfy guy. Yeah.
There's a constellation in the sky in the form of a dog called Sirius. That's where he gets his name. Where else do you find constellations? On temples. Just saying. Throwing that out there. What does it mean? I don't know.
Wow. They did a lot of research for this.
Anyway, we can move on now. Had to get that out of my system.
Okay, this next clip is kind of like when Harry's right about to meet his doom at the very end. And he's able to use this little thing called the Resurrection Stone to communicate with those on the other side of the veil.
You've been so brave, sweetheart.
Is that his mom? That's
Yeah.
so sad.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
His mom, his dad, his godfather, kind of like another unofficial godfather.
Oh, Lupin.
Yeah.
Why are you here? All of you.
We never left.
Does it hurt? Dying.
Quicker than falling asleep.
I'm sorry. I never wanted any of you to die for me.
They died for him?
Isn't Cedric there too, or is he?
Probably in the...
I think we see him too, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're supposed to be resurrected in the reverse order of when they were killed by Voldemort, who is the Dark Lord arch villain of the whole thing. But
Is he the one with no nose?
yeah.
yeah.
So, he said in the clip, I never meant for any of you to die for me or something like that. Did they die for him?
Yeah, his parents, his dad died protecting his mom died protecting him.
Yeah. And then the rest of them kind of died for a cause that was because of Harry.
Yeah.
So sad.
Hey, they doctrinally get some things right about spirits. Disembodied spirits don't have a body of flesh and bones.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. I also loved in this clip how peaceful they look.
Yeah.
And that's like every now and then you hear about like near-death experiences where people die and then come back, and a lot of the time they just say like peace, just complete and utter peace, unlike anything they've ever experienced. And I think that was well represented here.
Yeah. I think that, death is a very essential part of the plan of salvation. I think that there's still some times where, like, even I catch myself being very afraid of it, right? But I think that what's cool about this clip is that all these people had already passed on, and Harry, he thinks he's about to die for good. He thinks he's about to die and join them. And he's really scared, but they're like you don't have reason to be scared. I like that. I like that sense of peace, and it's just part of life is death also.
The idea of your ancestors communicating with you after they die, or you being able to communicate with them, always was interesting to me. And when my grandma died a year ago, and it was the first time someone in my family died while I was a member of this church, and I remember talking to my bishop, trying to like understand things because my whole family is, some of them are Catholic, some of them are not. So their understanding of the afterlife is very different from the LDS understanding. So I was meeting with my bishop and just talking with him about like, I know I can't like pray to my grandma, but like, can she hear things that I say if I pass them on like a prayer to God? Is there a way for her to like ever communicate something to me or guide me in any way? Can our ancestors guide us? Do we believe that in this faith? And kind of those questions. And he gave me a great answer, which was that if it's part of God's plan, then those messages will kind of be passed on if they further God's will. And if they don't, then they're not necessary and I don't need to worry about it. So that was very comforting. And just watching that scene kind of reminded me a little bit of that.
I think maybe my favorite part of that is when they appear to Harry and he says, "Why are you here?" And they respond and they say, "We never left.
Yeah.
We've been here the whole time."
Yeah.
And you just...
I love that part.
Oh, so good. And I think that there's truth to that.
Yeah. This clip is arguably one of the craziest plot twists in all of popular literature. It is when we find out some things about Snape that we did not know at all for a very, very long time. And it changes everything.
So for context, Snape, he's also represented as a bad guy. He's like a follower of Voldemort, but he's also a professor at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry.
Okay. And Harry hates him.
Harry's dad
And
bullied
he hates him. Yeah, they hate each other.
Yeah, so Snape's not a fan of Harry. Anyways.
Yes.
There will come a time when Harry Potter must be told something.
Must be told what?
On the night Lord Voldemort went to Godric's Hollow to kill Harry, and Lily Potter cast herself between them, the curse rebounded. When that happened, a part of Voldemort's soul latched itself onto the only living thing it could find, Harry himself. A part of Voldemort lives inside him.
So when the time comes, the boy must die?
Yes.
You've been raising him like a pig for slaughter.
Everything you've shown me is really sad. Are the movies this sad?
Actually, yeah.
No. Okay, the last
first part
ones,
of the first movie is good.
The last ones are pretty rough. I thought the first couple, the first one mostly was
they all have a
chipper.
dark like second half, I feel like. But then the last 3 movies, the 2 books are kind of just rough all the way. Yeah.
Harry Potter doesn't die. I know that for a fact because at the end he has kids or something.
But he is killed.
I did not know that.
You don't know about his twin brother.
Well, hold on. No. Are you lying to me? Because I can't read sarcasm. Is that true or not?
Okay, really quick, let me tell you that Voldemort does this thing where he kills people and then bits of his soul are imbued in something.
Okay.
So he's able to like save himself. So even when he dies, like his soul still exists. And that's why he like can come back and be stronger. So
Like
he accidentally did that with Harry.
Okay.
He didn't know that though. He doesn't know that a part of his soul is in Harry.
He meant to just kill Harry though.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I know how my brain would relate this to gospel, but you guys go first since I want to be careful here because there's evil forces involved.
The message is that there's a little piece of Satan in all of us. That's it. Just kidding. That was supposed to
Okay,
be funny.
good, because
Nobody
that's not
laughed.
what I got. That's not what I got from yeah, that's not what I got from it. I got the opposite, actually.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I think that one thing, just like a little part of it, and maybe not the whole like Snape part, but one part that's kind of cool is when you talk about how Harry died and his mom tried to save, like, and I just think that love is just like really powerful. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's not just a gospel thing, that's a life thing. Like, just love is, I don't know, sometimes it is enough to save someone.
Right.
And that's what she did for Harry. So
I like in the New Testament how it says love covereth a multitude of sins, right? But I
Yeah.
love that idea that love covers something. It protects you from so many things that otherwise you'd be vulnerable to.
yeah. And speaking of love, Snape very much loved Harry's mom. You could see
I
him
did hear
going
that
in the house,
once.
and yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's, even though he very much hated Harry's dad, that it was still like enough for him to see Harry's mom in, well, Lily, her name's Lily, right? To see Lily in him. So he's sad when he finds out that the whole plan is for him to be raised to die.
I
It's
want
so
to
hard
be
to teach
careful
all-
saying this because in the context of Harry Potter, it is an evil man, like a part of an evil man inside Harry, and he's being raised as like a pig to slaughter. But as somebody who had a period of time in their life where they were non-religious, I would hear comparisons being like, why would God sacrifice his son? Basically, like, send him to Earth, be raised like a pig to slaughter. For everybody else, like, why did that pain have to happen? And that's because they don't understand like the deeper context or the purpose of the atonement and all of that. So it reminded me of that, and kind of how we are children of God. So there is a piece of God in each one of us. And a requirement in this life is to eventually die at the proper time, at the proper place, to join Heavenly Father once again in the eternities. And so, but I wanted to be careful with that because we're talking about an evil guy's, and part of an evil guy that is in Harry Potter, not like part of a good guy. And in the context of God, it's completely different.
Well, I think Lily can be the Christ figure in this sense. Somebody that steps in between you and death and saves you.
That's true, yeah.
And that's
the
what Lily
advocate,
did.
yeah. And I think also, I mean, there's like Christ figures in lots of literature that we very much recognize are not at all Christ, right?
Sure.
Like when we say
Yes.
that, we're not at all saying that, but also that is a big part of why Harry has to die, is so that we get rid of this evil guy and then save so many people. So
Okay, well, I'm going to go home and cry and probably set up a time to watch Harry Potter. So thank you, guys.
if you're interested in seeing us evaluate more from Harry Potter and the gospel, or if you have ideas of clips, let us know what they are.
Or other movies.
Yes.
And let us know what you learned from some of these clips as well. What did we miss?